I'm Ed from Beretta Australia, and today we're here to go through a bit about Aimpoint. We will go through what Aimpoint is all about, starting with the aiming philosophy of Aimpoint, how to shoot Aimpoint, then going through some of the fundamentals that make Aimpoint so great. With Aimpoint's aiming philosophy, it's always to shoot with two eyes open. It doesn't work like a generic sight where you look through that sight. You have two eyes open at all times and you focus on that target, you bring the rifle up, shoulder the rifle, and that dot should naturally appear dead on target, and then you squeeze the trigger and fire. With that, you have full situational awareness, you've got full field of view. Running and moving targets are much easier to hit. It makes things a lot more accurate and a lot more fast. One of the most important things about Aimpoint and for Aimpoint's accuracy is that it's a parallax-free sight. Parallax is generally generated in other optical sights, and if you're not looking directly through that sight and you're off to the side a bit, your point of impact will change. So accuracy can be really dictated by whether or not you're looking directly through that sight or off to the side. Aimpoint is truly parallax free, so whenever you see that dot, regardless of head placement or positioning on the rifle, as long as that dot is aligned with your target, you'll hit your target every single time. So here is just an example of what I mean by this. You can see the functionality of how the Aimpoint is actually made, how that light is transmitted back to the eye. So no matter where you are, up or down, left or right, as long as that dot is on target, you will hit the target. So a parallax-free sight is actually, a very hard thing to produce, and it's something Aimpoint do exceptionally well and are really well known for. Here's just an example of it out in the field. All of a sudden, the wild boar comes out and straight on target, perfectly accurate. If that was a generic sight or a sight with parallax and it wasn't attuned properly, chances are you would miss that target completely. So accuracy is very, very key. This will help with the short distances and the long distances as mentioned before. Here we've just got an example of some of the dot sizes and what those dot sizes mean at certain distances. So dot sizes for Aimpoint range from really a 2 MOA up to a 6 MOA, depending on what sight you're operating with. And those dot sizes will mean different things at different distances. So for example, here you can see a 2 MOA dot size will cover a radius of 6 inches at 300 meters, which is making that dot size quite a bit bigger, which also means there is limited capability on how far you can shoot with an Aimpoint dependent on what your dot size is. It may end up covering that target completely, or if you have a small enough dot size, it might be just enough for a good point of impact out at a longer distance. Next, I suppose, fundamental feature that makes Aimpoint is its durability. These sights are pretty much indestructible. They can withstand extreme temperatures from freezing cold to roasting hot. They can withstand a massive amount of impact. They're fully submerged and waterproof. There's nothing really in terms of an environmental surrounding that can hurt this sight. Here's just an example of a diver down deep, finding an Aimpoint on the seabed, bringing it back up, and the Aimpoint is perfectly operational. And here we have another example of a fully loaded M4 being dropped flat onto the sight as part of a drop test at Aimpoint. And again, the sight is completely fine. The next most important thing with Aimpoint is its battery life. So most of the Aimpoints, they do vary between, or some do vary slightly between model and model. So a lot of the battery life on most Aimpoint products lasts for 50,000 hours or 5 years, up to the number 8 setting. Beyond that, it starts to die a bit quicker, but if you leave it on the number 8 setting, it should last for about 5 years. So that way you can be sure if you're out in the field or you're out hunting or you're doing any sort of use with an Aimpoint, that battery was going to last the distance for however long you're out for. So you can completely rely on the unit without it failing you out in the field. Going into zeroing an Aimpoint and how to zero it, Aimpoint actually have produced specific zeroing targets for each series of sight that they do. And these targets have a number of cubes, for lack of a better term, and those cubes will equate to a certain amount of clicks at a specific distance for the sight. So it's very easy to sight in. You just shoot a 3-bore sight it, shoot a 3-shot group, get a nice grouping, and then it's just a matter of counting the cubes across and up to that center point of impact and making the necessary adjustments. So you can download these sights off or directly off Aimpoint's website. Just make sure you're downloading the correct zeroing target for the correct series of sight that you're sighting in for, and it'll tell you what each click equates to at that specific zeroing in distance. So we'll go through some of the products that we have here today. First we have the T2, which is this product here. You can see here they've created a special housing around the top turret, so if the sight is for whatever reason dropped directly onto that top turret, there is no damage forming on the sight, so you can actually take the cap off and readjust zero or re-zero the sight if you have to. It won't be damaged. Windage is on the side here, and also on the side with this little turret cap you've got 2 little prongs, for lack of a better term, and these prongs are your zeroing in tool. So you can make any adjustments to the turrets once the caps are off with this little zeroing in tool here. Illumination settings on the side here goes up to 12. First 4 for night vision, and beyond that is all daytime illumination. You've got a blacked out cover here. As mentioned before, you do not need to be looking through this sight. So whether you're left eye or right eye dominant, it doesn't matter. You can keep this sight completely covered and use 2 eyes open to hit your target as long as that dot is on your target. So flip up covers, and that's about it for the T2. Again, 50,000 hours worth of battery life on illumination setting 8. Next we have the Comp M5B, which we have an example of on one of the guns over here. But as you can see in the illustration here, it's very similar in style to the T2. However, the battery componentry is slightly different. They do take a different battery. The good thing about the Comp M5B is it comes with a ballistic turret system. So you can interchange the turrets specific to what distances you're shooting as well as what caliber you're shooting with. So for a 223 or 556, you've got turrets to take you right out to 600 meters, and for a 762 or 308, you can go right up to 800 meters with an Aimpoint sight, or with the Comp M5B. So with the Comp M5B here, we have the turret systems which are all numbered. You've got what turret they actually are. You've got A, B, C, D labeled at the top here, and then they'll be numbered, and those numbers will equate to a certain drop for a specific caliber. Okay, easily removed. All you have to do is flick a switch and pull them up and out to interchange them, and then back down in, if I can get that back in. Down and in, and lock it away. Same as the windage, it's just this little lever here, you push it out, pull the turret off, replace the turret and push it back in. Here we have our 3x magnifier as well, with a quick detachable mount. So just twist and then pull off, if I can get that off like so, and then you can use it as a handheld device. To put it back on, all you have to really do is line up the hole with this nut here, chuck it back on as so, and twist it back into position, and then it's away you go. Okay, next we have the Aimpoint Acro, which is a very, very unique and great lightweight little sight. You've got your adjustments here, your turret adjustments here, and they're perfectly flush with the housing of the sight. So if it's dropped on its side or anything like that, it's going to be completely safe. A really strong unit. You've got your illumination settings on the sides here, and these ones come in 3.5 MOA dot size, whereas in the 2 is 2 MOA and 4, and the Comp M5B is a 2. And that about sums it up. So we've gone pretty much through how to shoot with an Aimpoint, how to zero an Aimpoint, what makes Aimpoint Aimpoint, the 3 main features being its accuracy with parallax-free sight, its battery life of up to 5 years, and its durability, unbreakable sight no matter what environment you're in. So now we'll go through an exercise of actually zeroing in the target and how to use the Aimpoint zeroing in the sight, and how to use the Aimpoint targets, and then we'll test the durability by taking it off the rifle and actually throwing it down range and remounting the rifle and seeing how it shoots after it's been zeroed. Alright, so now we'll run through how to zero an Aimpoint and the use of the zeroing targets. But before we get started with that, we're going to have to mount the Aimpoint. So here we have a T2 with just a Weaver style base on it to mount onto the Picatinny rail here. So the first thing we do once we put the sight in is we need to check what movement is in the sight. Now with the movement in the sight, it's very important to push the sight all the way forward, because if you don't, under recoil the sight can move, and that can change your point of impact and you can lose zero. So feel what movement you've got there, push it all the way forward, and then come round and then just tighten the sight up, like so. Perfect. All right, now I'd like to invite Craig over to bore sight the rifle and run through the zeroing exercise. As you can see, we've got our zeroing target out there, and that's a target that's relevant for the T2 or the micro series. So now we're going to bore sight the rifle, and the way we do that is we want to make sure the bolt is removed and we've got a clear line of sight through the barrel, and we just want to measure up where the barrel is pointing on the target to where that red dot is pointing. So you want to align the dot or the barrel with the center of the target, and then we'll make any necessary adjustments needed in order to get that red dot onto that target. So I'll start by just removing these turret caps. Now, as I mentioned before, you've got two little prongs here that you can use as a tool for making all the adjustments to the turrets. And then just on the inside of that tool, you can see which way you need to move the turrets in order to make that adjustment. So what I'll get you to do, Craig, is just line up the barrel with the target, then lift your head slightly so you can see the red dot sight, and then make the necessary adjustments in order to try and get that red dot sight aligned on target with the barrel. You can also use a tool that comes with Aimpoint. It's a little red tool here that's used for mounting, which I used before, but it also has two little prongs at the top here to make adjustments to, just as well as a little turret cap here. One click to the right, so I can use this. One click. How's that looking?
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good? All right. As long as you're on paper or it is aligned with the target, you can shoot that three-shot group, and it doesn't really matter where that three-shot grouping is located, because we can then count each cube to go across to center the rifle in properly. I'll leave these turrets off for the time being because we're going to have to make some more adjustments. All right, whenever you're ready, load up the mag, put the bolt in, and we'll fire your 3 shots. All right, wonderful. Now unload, remove the mag bolt and chuck the barrel flag in, chamber flag in. Okay, so now what I like to do is I like to take the rifle out to the target if you can, because going out to the target and counting the cubes to make 0 then coming back, 9 times out of 10 you'll forget how many cubes you need to make the adjustments for. So what we'll do, we'll take the gun out, we'll take our little tool out, and we'll make all the necessary adjustments out there, come back, and we'll shoot another 3-shot group, and hopefully we'll be bang on. We have our 3-shot grouping. We're using the micro T2 series sight here, and then we have what adjustments we need to make for the relevant distances. Okay, so we're at 25 meters here, so 1 click at 50 meters, so we'll need 2 clicks for every cube of adjustment that we need to get into the 0 point of our target. So we'll take roughly the middle of this grouping, and we'll come across 1, 2, 3, and we'll go up 1. So come across to the left, One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 because we're doubling it because we're at a shorter distance. And what did I say? Roughly 1, so 2 clicks up. right, we've made our adjustments. Now we'll fire another 3-shot grouping and hopefully we will be around the center and we'll be zeroed in and ready to go. So with the turret caps, the one with the 2 prongs, the adjustment tool, always make sure that it is placed back onto the windage adjustment and not the elevation adjustment turret. Otherwise, if you place it on the elevation turret, these 2 knobs will actually protrude past the protective housing, and if the rifle is then dropped on the sight, you can actually damage these turret prongs and seize the turret cap in there, so you can't make any more adjustments. So always on the side, and the one with the flat turret always on the top. Ready, Craig? We'll shoot another 3-shot group and hopefully we'll be dead center. Mag out, bolt out. All right, now we'll head out and see how you went. As you can see, we're pretty much dead zero. It might come down one more click of adjustment, which I'll do now, and then we should be just about perfect. All right, so now that we're all zeroed in, we'll put the turrets back on. Again, turret with the 2 prongs goes onto the side. Okay, all the way up. All the way up. Excellent. All right, now we're going to run through a durability test to prove that even under, a strong impact and harsh environments and that sort of thing, that the Aimpoint will remain accurate and won't lose zero. So what we're going to do, we've zeroed in the sight. We're going to take off the sight, right? And I'm going to get you to throw it down range, Craig, and then we'll remount the sight, and then we'll shoot another grouping, and we'll see where it's at. All right, so I'll just get my little tool here. So take off the sight. Okay. One thing to note when you're setting up an Aimpoint or before you take it out into the field is this battery housing here. All right, you want to make sure that the battery housing is done up all the way and very strong. It's held by a pretty stiff rubber O-ring there, and if that is loose, it can actually create a bit of light pressure off, and it can turn off the sight. So you want it done up really tight so the sight always stays on, as well as you don't want any dirt and grime or water leakage into there. So you want to make sure that those seals are doing what they're meant to do. Make sure everything is tight and secure. All right, that's all done. Now, as mentioned before, Aimpoints are nearly indestructible, but the only real weak part of this with throwing it down the sight will be the mounting system. Okay, it's strong once it's attached to something, but yeah, if you throw it down and it smashes a big rock, it might bend a little bit, but we'll still get it on there and it'll still shoot fine. So, but on the rifle, you've got nothing to worry about. All right, so I've got the sight here, battery housing all done, turrets all done up. We've also done up the bottom of the screw on the bottom of the mount here. Now, I want you to throw this as hard as you can.
As hard as I can.
As hard as you can.
Sure.
Just keep an eye out on where it lands so we don't lose it.
Walk
But
past the edge of the roof first.
yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah.
You sure?
Go for it.
Throw it.
Throw it as hard as you can. Go, have at it. Not bad. Don't know where it went though. Where did it bloody go? It landed around here somewhere, didn't it?
Is that it directly in front of you? Keep walking, keep walking.
Ah, there we go. Good, good. All right, now what I want you to do is throw it and try and skin it along the ground, but just try and clear that ditch first.
Clear the ditch, roger that.
Yeah, give it some impact. Perfect. So go back over here. Okay, so here we have it. Aimpoint taken off. It's had a little bit of a battering, right? Still working.
Yep.
So still fully working, still fully operable. What we'll do now, a bit of dirt and grime and all that sort of thing on it. I'm just going to move this over. Best thing to do with just cleaning your site is water. Bit of bottle of water, even normal sort of scopes and that sort of thing. Soapy water is probably your best friend. A bit of detergent around here will help lift the grime up, so you don't actually scratch the surface of the lenses. So yeah, just bit of detergent, maybe some soapy water or just normal water, and just run it across it. So just give it a little wash. Got a bit of dirt stuck in the lens here. All right, that's all clean. Dry it off a bit with the old jumper. Okay. All right, now put the sight back on. Back on the rifle. So it's a little bit scratched up and all that sort of thing, but in terms of operation, completely fine. Remember, sight always forward. Up nice and tight. Last 3-shot group, mate. All right, mate, unload. Perfect. All right, now we'll go out and see how much that point of impact actually changed with using an Aimpoint. Yep. Well, there you have it. We've zeroed in the rifle, we've taken the Aimpoint off the gun, we've thrown the Aimpoint down range and back again, remounted the Aimpoint, and it's still perfectly zeroed, as you can see. All right, there you have it. We've gone through all the fundamentals of Aimpoint, some of the products that Aimpoint provide. We've given it a pretty good durability and accuracy test so far. I'm Ed from Beretta Australia. If you'd like to know any more about any of our products, you can visit our website at www.berettaaustralia.com.au and then just search Aimpoint or search through the categories for anything else that we distribute. Thank you.